The Jedi News Interview. Mark Newbold interviews Irvin Kershner.
Hello, Mr. Kershner.
Yes.
How you doing? You alright?
Okay, it's just 12 o'clock. My God, you're good. As far as health goes, very well. Working on a new photographic show. I'm designing it.
Yeah.
And I still have some films I'm working on. And, you know, things are going along. Yeah, I'm not teaching this year.
Yeah.
Because I found that it was getting in the way of doing my work.
Yeah.
So I stopped this year, and I don't know what will happen next year.
But it's good to be busy. You're pleased to be still doing plenty of stuff.
Yeah.
That's great.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Well, you've directed numerous films, and yet to a very wide audience. You're most widely known for directing, obviously, Empire Strikes Back. As a director, how happy are you with that? Does that make you happy?
To shoot the film?
To be remembered for that particular film?
Well, I'll tell you. It makes you happy, and sometimes it makes you unhappy, and I'll tell you why. It was a great experience for me because George Lucas turned out to be the best producer I've ever worked with. The fact that he followed through on his word, where he let me alone. He stayed in California, and I went to Norway and England. He kept to his word. I had complete control, and he was supportive all the way. To be remembered for the film is often the problem that a lot of authors have. They write many books, and they're remembered for one.
Yeah.
Well, I've done many films and television.
Yeah.
And everywhere I go, they first talk about Empire. They might mention some of the other films.
Yeah.
So I've given up on that. You just have to accept it. It's the same as what we have with stars. You know?
Yeah.
Remember a star for one thing that they've done really outstanding. I mean, Clark Gable did Gone with the Wind. Vivian Leigh did Gone with the Wind. They've done hundreds of pictures.
Yeah.
So I guess I have to just enjoy it. I've been traveling a lot. In fact, this year I've been to the Amazon and France and
All right.
Russia and, you know, all over the place.
Yeah.
And I get tremendous response. They want me to talk about the film and about Yoda and about the philosophy of the film and what kind of experience I had. You know, I get all that stuff. And also, every single week I'm getting huge amounts of mail with pictures of myself in film that they want me to sign. And it's really they're taking a hell of a lot of time. I realize how important it is to these people. There are fans all over the world. I get them from South Africa, from Germany, from Russia. I get them from everywhere. So it's kind of an amazing phenomenon. And I guess you just have to ride the wind.
Yeah. Well, you'd got a relationship with George before Empire came along, hadn't you? Weren't you his teacher at some point at film school?
Say that again?
You and George had a prior relationship to Empire Strikes Back. Weren't you one of his teachers at film school?
Yes, at USC.
Yeah.
And then we were sort of friends after that, and we even played tennis together many times.
All right.
Yeah, and but I didn't really get to know him until making the film, because the pre-production, you know, we had to get the script right.
Yeah.
We wrote a brand new script. We threw out the old script.
Yeah.
When I came on. And then, in the editing process, I could always count on him if there were problems. George is a very, very good editor.
Yes.
I pride myself on being a very good editor, too, because I did all my own documentaries.
Yeah.
I edited. So, but it was a very, very good relationship. And yes, the fact that I had him in a couple of classes, I don't consider that important.
No, no.
I don't think that he got very much out of school. I think he came equipped with his own vision.
He was his own man. Definitely his own man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, given that, obviously, making Empire took a long time, and it was quite a long shoot, wasn't it? There was a few problems, technical problems and such.
Yes, it took me almost 3 years.
Yeah.
2 years and 9 months.
Wow.
I've ever worked on a film. The shooting was 6 months long. It was long because we had 64 sets.
Wow.
Unheard of. And they were huge. They took up whole stages. We only had 7 stages. The 8th stage, which we were counting on, was burnt down by Kubrick.
That's right, on The Shining.
Oh, we started shooting.
Yeah.
And so it was really... I had to finish the day's work and finish a sequence so that they could take down the set that night.
Yeah.
Around the clock. And as I came in the morning, it was an empty stage, and they were putting up another set. And I did many scenes with one take.
Really?
And this really scared the hell out of the crew.
Yeah.
But I explained to them, if we had to do cover takes, you know, what they call protection take,
Yeah.
2 and a 3, that to set up many of the shots took hours.
Yeah.
Well, it would have doubled the shooting time, at least.
Yeah.
So I made a decision right early on to scare the hell out of the crew.
Yeah.
First time we got on the set, and we did a take, and I said, okay, let's move on. They said, wait a minute. Don't you want to protect that take? And I said, no, because I know the piece I want is in there. Because I was pre-editing in my mind.
Yeah.
And so they got used to it, and it was, it saved me a lot of time.
Because there was a lot of pressure making that film, wasn't there, with the original Star Wars being such a big hit.
Or say that again?
With the original Star Wars being such a huge hit, there must have been a lot of pressure on the set and for George and yourself to a degree to follow that on.
Yeah, well, you know, everyone thinks that when we started Empire, that it was absolutely known to be, it was going to be a big hit. This is not true.
No.
We didn't know whether Star Wars was a one-time phenomenon.
Yeah.
And whether they would not accept the second one as being of any importance.
Yeah.
It was not new. It was already, it had been done. That's the feeling that people would have. So I adjusted it to make it the second act of a 3-act play.
Yeah.
And the second act has to do with character. And I wanted to build the characters. And I wanted to keep suspense. And I was depending on Yoda to be a very important motivating force.
Yeah.
The center of the whole thing. And so I concentrated on that. I knew technically that no matter what I did in the storyboards could be done by ILM.
Yeah.
If I hadn't have been backed up by ILM, the film might have gone for 2 years or 3 years or 4 years in the making, you know?
Yeah.
But ILM was so good. And George told me before I left for England and Norway, he said, listen, when you do your, because I said I was going to do all my own storyboards.
Yeah.
Be almost a year. He said, don't be limited by what everyone around tells you can't be done. Because we didn't have digital, you know. He said, don't be limited. He said, you dream up what you want, and ILM will do it. You got it?
Yeah.
It's the opposite of the way you usually work with people. He said, you dream it up and they'll do it. And he made sure they would.